Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? How y'all feeling, man? It's Tay, also known as Taco About Hips. You feel me? I've dropped a couple of videos the past couple of days. Um, I wanted to just drop another one just to show you another little strategy that you can use within colors. Yeah, that's right, another one. So obviously, man, just this software in general is just an absolute game changer. Um, and I know in my last videos I did say that I was entering a couple of trades, and I just want to show you how those turned out, and then also not only just how those turned out, but why I took a lesson on actually a Nas 100 trade that I had was looking at in the last video. And so I wanted to just make sure that you guys did not make that same mistake. So as you can see here, we're on Nas 100. If you remember, we had a BM that was roughly um, it was roughly about right here, I believe. As you can see, obviously it's not there anymore, right? I'm pretty sure it was right here or it was this candle. It was one of the two. And we boxed it up and waited for it to break out, waited for the colors to line up, and we entered the trade, right? But as you see here, it's just disappeared, um, which is perfectly fine. Plus, today is NFP Friday, so NFP Friday is one of the most volatile days of the month because that's just NFP week in general. That's when the unemployment reports, the interest rate reports. That's when all of those tend to come out. And so as you see here, we have this nice little wick right here. So price shot all the way down to roughly 12,520. We had a stop loss of 12,630. Now, one thing that I did want to go over, right? Because we've been talking about this supreme trend line, right? We've been talking about the supreme trend line, and the number one rule for us is we do not trade against our supreme trend line, right? Um, and this is just a lesson that I had to take, but I wanted to be able to share it with you guys because I know exactly why I lost it, and it's because I traded against the supreme trend line. So as we see here, our supreme trend line is red, right? And what color is our triangle for the week? Look, it's red. So this line is red as well. All right, just so you guys can see, this line is red, right? We've got a red triangle, letting us know that that line is red. And so then essentially, because of that, I should have only been looking for selling opportunities, right? Should have been looking for selling opportunities. But what did I do? Let me change something real quick. But what did I do, huh? I traded against the Supreme Trend Line. I traded against the Supreme Trend Line. And not only did I trade against the Supreme Trend Line, but I traded against our trend. We have a red triangle. So that's letting us know that our current price action trend is a downtrend. And what did I do? I took a buying opportunity. Um, and that goes completely against my rules, and that is why I lost this trade, right? Because when we see that we're supposed to be looking for selling opportunities, because we don't trade against the supreme trend line, and I took a buying opportunity. So if we let's see, I believe I want to say that this was the candle right here. I believe this was the candle. So we have this right here. I'm actually going to change the color a little bit. All right. So then what we did was we dropped down to our 1 hour time frame and we waited for our colors to line up. Actually, let me go back here because what we would have done, we would have waited for this candle to close. So we would have been looking for something about right here. Okay. So I dropped down to my 1 hour. See, this is slightly right here. This could have been a potential entry, but I obviously didn't catch it right here. I didn't catch this move right here. I was about right here when we saw it. Price was kind of fluctuating at this point, so I ended up entering this trade, expecting it to continue pushing up right here to this area. Because I saw this right here. I was like, oh, another green triangle, solid green candle, right? A green dot, green line, and a green volume bar above the show line. But let's see. Here, I'm gonna show you. So for one, like I said, we don't want to trade against our supreme trend line. So when we drop down to our lower time frames, for our highest probability setups, we want this supreme trend line. We want it to be green, right? We want it to be green. If we see here, even this entry right here, our supreme trend line was red. But you know, some people they would blind up the colors and still taking that trade, and you still could have caught a very decent amount of pips. That's, still roughly 400 pips right there, at least a 400 pip move. Even though your supreme trend line is a different color, but just with our rules, right, we want our supreme trend line to be, we wanted it to be green if we were looking for buying opportunities. But like I said, our daily supreme trend line was red. Our price action line was also red. So the only thing we should have been looking for was selling opportunities. That's all we should have been looking for. And obviously, obviously that didn't happen. So we took a lesson. So we were looking for selling opportunities though, right? We can honestly get rid of that. So we were looking for selling opportunities right now. This is where we started looking. So we would have been looking for red triangles, all the colors line up vertically. And we would have been looking to make sure our supreme trend line is red. Where do we find that at? Boom, right here. We got a red triangle, solid red candle. Our supreme trend line is red. Come down, our dot is red. Our line is red, and we have a volume bar that is red, and it's above this yellow borderline. And look at this. This is telling you that your market is overbought. So this was just a beautiful setup. You would have, taken that entry once that candle closed, right? Put your stop loss where you'd like to put your stop loss. Some people, they put it at the most recent structure. We talked about in another video. You put it above this supreme trend line, because that's just also another level of structure. But remember, because we're analyzing on the daily, since we're analyzing on the daily, we would have put our stop loss, right? We would have put a stop loss above the structure on the daily, right? Because we're analyzing on the daily. So you would have put your stop loss, up here. Or what you really could do, drop down to your Hakanashi. Ooh, not the Hakanashi candles. So you drop down to your Hakanashi candles, right? And remember, I know one of my videos I talked about what we could do is what a lot of people do is just like the more conservative traders, once they see a flat top, right? Either they will put their stop loss above the flat top, or they'll see a flat top and go to the previous flat top with their stop loss above here, or they'll put it above two previous flat tops. So this isn't a flat top because it's got a small little wick. So this is the second previous flat top. So Gonna put your stop loss right here, right? So let me just show you. So if I were to put my stop loss above here, and we would have came back down to this hour time frame. Let me go back to this the regular candles real quick, just to show you exactly how price moved, right? We would have put it there. Obviously, our stop loss would have got hit. That's okay, all right? And this is where like your lessons come in. This is where you learn. This is how you learn, right? All right. So if they would put their stop loss up here, right? Price still would have got hit. The stop loss still would have got hit. If they would have put their stop loss right here, which is the really conservative ones, which honestly I believe this one works best. If you put it if you put your stop loss two previous flat tops before, but you could you could have essentially put your stop loss right here and never would have got touched, and you would be in profit right now. You would be in profit. Excuse me. So that just goes to show you. We'll drop down to our 1 hour real quick. So that could have been an entry right there. You got all of your colors lining up vertically, and your spring trend line was red as well. Remember, we're only looking for selling opportunities. And then let's see, we come here, we have another red triangle, solid red candle, right? But our spring trend line is still green at this point, even though the colors line up. So wait. Right? So this right here, our line is like halfway inside of the no trade zone and halfway outside of it, even though we have all our colors lining up. So I would just wait a little bit longer just to get a clear and concise entry. So I would wait till right there. Right here is where all your colors lined up and your supreme trend line was red. So this could have been a potential entry once that candle closed. And as you see, you would have taken profit. So this is kind of just to show you, don't trade against your supreme trend line. Like I stated that in one of my very first videos, and I still sat here and traded against my supreme trend line, all because I felt like, I got all my confirmations and all the colors lined up. And even though the colors lined up, right, we want our highest probability setups, which is why we don't trade against our supreme trend line. So I just wanted to be able to show you, like, hey, I'm human too. There's, still things that, I'm working on. So if you sit here and trade and you end up taking losses, like, don't take it to heart. You sit back, you go back, you learn from them, you see what went wrong, and then you take that knowledge and you turn, you turn that loss into a lesson, which is why we consider them lessons, not losses. So that's just, I just really wanted to break that down and show you, like, hey, man, like, I know I talked about this software a lot, but like even the richest of the rich in this market, they lose sometimes, and you just have to learn from those losses for real. And I had to learn that because I used to be a huge revenge trader. Like I would take losses in the market, and then I'd sit here and be like, no, I got to make this back. Like I know I'm better than this, I got to make this back. And it's like, no, you don't. You'll make it back eventually, but if you don't learn from the mistake that you made, you're just going to end up, making that mistake again. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's look at this. Let's look at GBP CAD. So we look at GBP CAD. We see our supreme trend line. What color is it? It's red. Okay. So our supreme trend line is red. And what is our most recent triangle? Our most recent triangle is red as well. Right. So we're looking for selling opportunities. Looking for selling opportunities. Okay. So let's just start with this week. Excuse me. So this is the beginning of this week. So we would only be looking for selling opportunities. Now, when we do find entries, where would we have put in our stop loss? Where would we have put? I said putting. What is wrong with me? Where would we have put our stop loss? We could have put it above this structure. Above this structure, we could have put it above this box. Or we can drop down to our Hafanashi candles, right? We have a flat top. So since we have a flat top right here, let me zoom in. Since we have a flat top right here, what are we going to do? We're going to go back 2 previous candles. two previous flat top candles and put our stop loss above that. So this is our most recent flat top. So 1, 2. So our stop loss goes above this structure right here, which is crazy because there's, look, a level already here. So this is a good structure for your stop loss, right? So now what we would do, drop down to our 1 hour, right? And I'm going to show you this on all the different time frames as well. And we're actually going to stay on Hakanashi candles because, it's just, I feel like it's a lot easier on the eyes for, a lot of newer people, just to use Hakanashi candles, right? And our ideal setups, we would want to see a solid red candle on a flat top, right? But all in all, first thing we look for is our supreme trend line. What color is our supreme trend line? It's red, right? So it matches our daily supreme trend line. So we're on the right track. Now, we wait for our colors to line up. All right, wait for our colors to line up. Boom, 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 boom. Right here, I'm actually gonna make this this color right here. All right, so supreme trend line is red. Solid red candle. What color is our dot? It's red. Our line is also red, and we have a red volume bar above the line. So once that candle closed, you could have a potential entry, right? So once that candle closed, be a potential entry, right? And where's our stop loss going? Because remember, we're analyzing on the daily. So there'd be a lot of people, they'd enter on the hour, they put their stop loss up here because they see that, oh, on the 1 hour, I'm just going to put it at the previous, high or the previous level of structure. And, that's how you end up getting stopped out, because remember, you're analyzing on the daily, which obviously here you wouldn't have gotten stopped out, but this is where you could have moved your stop loss once this level appeared. So that's what that's telling you. But initially, your stop loss would have been up here at 63.53. So you roughly would have had about a 250 pip stop loss. And I know a lot of people are sitting there like, oh my gosh, that's a huge stop loss. But remember, we're analyzing on the daily time frame. So the daily time frame, you're going to catch a lot more pips. And that market's going to move a lot more because you're going to be holding your trade. You could hold your trade for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The longest I've held a trade analyzing on the daily is a month and a half before it actually, hit my take profit. Well, my final take profit. And I caught, 700-800 pips on a Euro USD sell. So it really takes patience. But, I'm perfectly fine with that. So that would be one potential entry, right? So then we keep going. Supreme trend line is still red, so we can continue looking for sells. We got a red triangle, solid red candle. Our dot is red, but our line is inside of our no trade zone. So we continue to wait, and we wait, and we wait. We got a green triangle, so now we wait for another red triangle. All right. So we have our supreme trend line is still red. So we're still looking for those selling opportunities. So we have a red triangle, solid red candle. Our dot is red, our line is red, and we have a red value bar that is above this floating yellow line. So all our confirmations line up, all our colors line up. So once this candle closes, then you enter on the next candle. Now, let's go back to our daily real quick. All right. So obviously let me delete that. Obviously our original stop loss was up here, right? But we see that this EC level ended up appearing right here. You see right here, this EC level ended up appearing. So once this EC level appeared, right, this is where you can move your stop loss. So you move your stop loss a little bit above it, right? Right, you move your stop loss a little bit above it. Now, since you would move your stop loss right here, guess what? when you took this entry right here, you could have your stop loss right here. Right, you could have your stop loss right here. So if you wanted to do that, definitely do that, because there is that level of structure right there. Let's just look at this just to see, how many pips you could have potentially caught just on these couple entries. So let's look at the first entry. My goodness. This is GBP CAD. So we measure that. All right, so in about 3 days, you could have caught roughly 326 pips off one entry. And you could have caught, in 2 days, you could have caught another 184 pips. All right. So I mean, that just goes to show you like the power of this, and why you truly do not want to trade against your supreme trend line, just due to that fact. Let's go to gold, because gold's been, I feel like it's just been in a consolidation zone lately. But let's look and see, man. Let's look and see. Oh, excuse me. All right. So this, oops, my bad. So this is the start of our week right here, right? That's the start of our week. And what color is our supreme trend line? Our supreme trend line is green, but we have a red triangle, right? So to me, this is indicating, okay, this is some type of pullback. We're going to get a reaction off of this, and then a continued push up. So what I would definitely love to see go sometime next week probably is we get a green candle. I mean, not a green candle, but a green triangle to appear. If we get that, you can see this making a push back up to this 1998 area. If it breaks that, it could end up retesting this 2040 area. If we see that break of that, like 2089, 2090, who's telling? There's no telling how far up this can go. But as you see here, obviously, it is coming down to retest this supreme trend line, so it's retesting this level of structure. But we see down here, price is oversold as well, and we have buyers coming into this market. So it definitely would be nice to start seeing a push up. But because our supreme trend line is red, right? I mean, because our supreme trend line is green, excuse me, and we have a red triangle, right? Personally, I would still be looking for buying opportunities, just due to the fact that we do not want to trade against our supreme trend line, point blank period, right? So let's go ahead and drop down to our 1 hour time frame real quick, right? Now, what do we want? We want our supreme trend line to be what color? Green. We want it to be the same color as our daily supreme trend line. Is it? No, it's not. So guess what? Guess what? I'm not taking any of these trades. I'm not taking any of these trades. Right? I'm just not. I'm just not. It is what it is. Now I already know you guys are probably looking at this candle right here. I already know y'all are looking at this candle right here, right? Because let's see, we got a green triangle, but our supreme trend line's red. It's red. It's red. It's red. It's red. Oh, look, now it turns green. Oh, and now all our colors line up. Because look, what color is our candle? Solid green, right? Our supreme trend line is also green. Our dot is green. Our line is also green. And we have a value bar above the floating yellow line that is also green. So this could be a potential entry. I'm not saying go ahead and enter on that entry, but it definitely could be a potential entry right here. So we'll definitely see what happens. So me personally, I would like to see price break this 1906 area, and then if I get that, then I I'd definitely love to start seeing that push back up to that 1998 area. Um, but somebody could be, somebody could have entered right here. Obviously, you'd be in a little bit of drawdown right now. You'd be roughly, roughly in about 18, 18 pips of drawdown, which is perfectly fine because as long as you're using the proper risk, you have to remember that you are analyzing on the daily, right? So you're analyzing on the daily. So where would you have put your stop loss? Well, let's go to our Hakanashi candles. Oh, we don't have any green Hakanashi candles because sellers have been in this market. Okay, so since we don't see that, right? What's our it just let's go through this. Look, our most recent flat bottoms green Hakanashi candles are over here. Obviously, our stop loss isn't going to go somewhere up here, right? Because this is our entry down here. So our stop loss can't go up here, right? So remember, we talked about this supreme trend line being a level of structure. So you can put your stop loss below here, your stop loss below this structure, right? It's completely up to you and how you want to manage your risk. But that is, like I said, that's completely up to you. But that's what we would have been looking for, right? That's typically what we've been looking for. Buying opportunities just because our supreme trend line is definitely excuse me, is definitely green. So we don't want to trade against that supreme trend line, even though we see that we have a red daily triangle. We're just looking at that as a pullback for now. Excuse me. Now if we see these lines cross, we see the supreme trend line turn red, then we'd start looking for selling opportunities. Right? Start looking for selling opportunities. So that's typically how you would do that. And I did want to drop down. I want to go back to GBP CAD real quick because I did tell you that I was going to drop down time frames to an even smaller time frame. So let me do this real quick. I'm going to delete these entries that happened on the hour time frame. All right, and then our stop loss, original stop loss has been up here because the flat top, two previous candles before it, 1, 2, so it's been up here, right? All right, so let's just go. I'm just gonna show y'all. Let's just drop down to our 30-minute time frame. All right, let's just drop down to our 30 minutes. See how many potential entries we could have had. All right, so look, got a red triangle, but what color is our supreme trend line? Is green, so I'm not even worried. I'm not even looking. I don't even care. I don't even care right now. I don't even care right now. All right, so our supreme trend line is red. Now we're looking for selling opportunities. Look, we got a red triangle. All right. Got a red triangle. Solid red candle. Our dot is red. Our line is red. And we have our volume bar above the red line. I mean, our volume bar is red above the floating yellow line. So this could be, we would have waited for that candle to close and taking a potential entry. All right. And as long as the supreme trend line is red, we're going to continue looking for selling opportunities. All right, boom. Solid red candle. Dot is red, line is red, and value bar is red above the yellow floating line. So we wait for that candle to close, and that's another potential entry. Yes, sir. Oh, y'all thought this was a game? Look at that. Oof. All right, so red triangle, solid red candle. Our dot is red. Our line is also red down here. And we have a red volume bar above this floating yellow line. So once that candle closes, that's another potential entry, excuse me. This is on the 30-minute time frame. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Wow. So look, red triangle, solid red candle. Your dots red, your line's red, volume bar is red above the yellow line. Once that candle closed, it's another potential entry. All right, so now it's coming back up here. I can definitely see, price coming back up here to collect some equity right here. Before that continued push down, I would love to see that, right? So just to, you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4 potential entries on your 30-minute time frame. That's just on your 30-minute time frame, right? My scalpers, let's go. Go down to our 15-minute. All right. And our 15-minute time frame. I already know. I already look. We wait for our trend line to be red. We wait for our supreme trend line to be red and line up the colors vertically. Supreme trend line is red right here. Colors lined up vertically right here. So, right here. Yeah. So once that candle closed, your potential entry, I'm gonna make this like light blue. This is our 15. Right here, all your colors lined up vertically. Another potential entry. Right here, colors lined up, and closed, another potential entry. Right. Our supreme trend line is green right here, so we wait for it to be red. It's red, and all our colors lined up right here. So once that candle closed, boom, that's another entry. This is all on a 15-minute. My goodness. Colors lined up. Colors lined up. Candle closed. Nothing. So yeah, I definitely can see price coming back up to here to this 1.6,000 area, and, retesting that, continuing to push down. Would love to see that. But these last two entries, you would have been a little bit of drawdown right now, but I mean, you essentially would have went about shoot anywhere from 30 to 50 pips in profit, and if you didn't secure any of that, I don't know what to tell you. But you would have had roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries on the 15-minute, 3 on the 4 on the 30-minute. You would have had those 2 or 3 on the hour. So this is just showing you that you can find setups on any time frame. It's really just a matter of sticking to your rules. Like I'm telling y'all, man, do not trade against your supreme trend line. I don't care. I don't care. And like I said, that Nas 100 trade that I showed y'all, like that just goes to show you, man. Like don't trade against your supreme trend line. I don't care what you think that you're seeing. I don't care what you've learned. And like this, this software was developed for a reason, and all you got to do is just stick to the rules, man. I feel like a lot of us, at least me personally, just over the years, I've learned a lot of different concepts when it comes to trading because there's so many different, there's just so many different techniques and ways to trade and analyze the markets. And I feel like a lot of that knowledge can cloud you on your judgment because you're looking at just different concepts that you've learned and incorporating it with this software as well. And it's like, no, just take the software for what it is. There are certain there are rules that need to be followed and just follow those rules. So I've had to pretty much like reprogram my mind and when using this software, stop thinking of everything else that I've learned. Like, yes, some things are beneficial, especially when it comes to price action. Like knowing price action is a huge part of using, really maximizing and using this software. But this is, even for the most basic of basic traders, all it is lining up shapes and colors, point blank period. That's all you're doing. So, I know a lot of people sit there and be like, oh, well, there's a Harami candle and, a morning star and, a hammer and all this stuff and try to, add all those concepts to this and add all these other confirmations, which I understand it because I do it a lot. I do it a lot, but I'm telling y'all, man, the software was made for a reason. The software was supposed to make trading simple, and it's simply by lining up shapes and colors. And that is all you have to do. Once you start to deviate from those rules, that's when you'll start to take those losses. And like I said, that Nas 100 trade that I had marked up, that was the reason that I, lost the trade, was because I traded against that supreme trend line, right? Now, just to show you, I also want to show you this thing. So we talked about in the previous video about these SM and BMs and the EC levels, right? And we talked about how when we see these SM levels, or BM levels, EC levels, box it up, right? Wait for price to break out of that box, right? And then you go ahead and take the trade, right? Me personally, I'm still using that, but the only time I'm using that is if it's lining up with my supreme trend line. So what that means, if I have a green, if my supreme trend line is green, right? I'm not going to be boxing up red EC levels or red SM levels, right? I'm only going to be boxing up the green EC levels and the green BM levels, right? So I'm only going to be boxing up, this EC. Oh, geez. I'm only going to be boxing up this EC level right here, or this BM level right here, right? Another EC level. Just box up, bro. I just want. My goodness. Box that up. All right, do that. Now look at here. You got a BM level right here and an EC level right here. But what color is my supreme trend line? It's red, right? So I'm not even boxing these up. This right here and this right here. I'm not boxing these up. Why am I not boxing these up? Because my supreme trend line right here is red. My supreme trend line is red. So this goes against my rules. And yes, you could have potentially caught an even bigger sniper move, but we want to stick to our rules. I'm telling y'all, man, this is all just sticking to your rules, lining up shapes and colors. Your supreme trend line is red, so guess what? I would have looked for an SM level or an EC level that was red in this area, and I would have boxed that up, waited for price to break, waited to line up the colors. Then I would have taken that, but I'm not going to do that. So I would have waited, and it takes patience. It really takes patience. And as you see here, look, so this happened. This was the whole month of December right here. This spring trend line was red the entire month of December. So me personally, I wouldn't have, you could have found some selling opportunities for sure. You definitely could have found some selling opportunities, but I definitely wouldn't have been boxing up any of these levels. All right. So that's just me personally, man. You're gonna do what you want to do, but I'm telling you, what I've learned. I'm telling you what works. I'm telling you the rules, and all you got to do is just stick to the rules if you want to really maximize, capitalize in this market. So let me look at one more before I hop off of here, because your boy has to get ready for his last day of work. You feel me? Well, actually, I got 2 more days before before my last day of work, and then I'm on the move, and I'm finally, moving. Thankful for I Am Academy for helping me to do this. Obviously, God is number one, because without Him, none of this would have been possible. But He was the one who was able to put me in the right place in connection with the right people for this amazing, amazing software, this amazing opportunity, this company. So I know a lot of people see I Am Academy in a negative light, man. And at one point I was one of those people, just due to the fact I wasn't doing my due diligence. I was sitting there blaming educators and all of this for me blowing my accounts. They're not the ones entering my trades. They're not the ones sitting here over leveraging. That was me. So It just took me a while, and I had to. That's a part of growth, man. I really had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, is it there? If it was the academy that was failing, then the academy clearly would not be around. And that, that's just facts. Because look at all the different academies that have popped up since I am Academy, and think about how many are still around today. You know what I'm saying? So haters will hate. It is what it is. Let's see here. Look, we got AUD USD, right? We got AUD USD. Excuse me. So we've got an SM that popped up. Our Supreme trend line is red. So since a red SM popped up, I would box this up. All right, I boxed that up. You could drop down to our 1 hour if you really wanted to. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Let me do this. All right. So this is today. And I mean, this is AUD USD. It's NFP Friday. I probably wouldn't even touch this today. But you would have waited for a red triangle and all your colors to line up. Obviously, we don't have that yet. Let's drop down to our 30-minute. All right, wait for a red triangle. All our colors to line up vertically. Right here, where all our colors would have lined up, so you could take in that potential entry. Right, you put your stop loss up here, and then you first take profit would have been pretty much right here. Obviously, with the spread, where you would put your take profit, you would put it a little bit above this structure. So potentially it could have gotten, your TP could have gotten hit. I would love to see price continue making this push down and come into this green box and test this area. But that could have been a potential entry, and you still could have caught, let's see, 6. I mean, you still could have caught roughly like a cool 30, 40 pips on the 30-minute. You know what I'm saying? So let's go down to our 15-minute. See if we can get the colors to line up. Colors lined up right here. Right, yeah. So you definitely could have caught, at least a cool 30, 40 pips off AUD USD today. So, and that's literally what do? Our Supreme trend line was red. We had a red SM level, so we boxed that up and we waited for the colors to line up. And I mean, I'm cool with 40 pips because y'all know my goal is 20 pips a day. Once I catch that 20 pips, I'm cool for the day. You feel me? So that's just AUD USD. But let's look. I just want to show you like when this Supreme trend line turned red, right? This Supreme trend line turned red. This is where it turned red. I'm actually going to delete this one. Oh, I do not want to go to work. So there's that. And what we would have done, drop down to the 1 hour. And first thing we look for, what colors are our Supreme trend line? We want it to be red. So when it's red, good. And then we wait for all the colors to line up vertically. All right. Wait for all the colors to line up vertically. Boom. So that colors lined up right there. So this could be a potential entry once that candle closed. Colors lined up here, so that's another potential entry. Colors lined up here, so that's another potential entry. All right. Our colors lined up here, but our Supreme trend line was green, so we wait. We wait. All right, and once that candle closed, that could have been another potential entry. Jeez. All right, so you potentially could have had 4 different entries on the 1 hour. All right. Potentially 4 different entries on the 1 hour on AUD USD, just simply by lining up the colors. making sure your Supreme Trendline match. I'm telling you, don't trade against your Supreme Trendline, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. So I mean, let's look. Just like from here to here. Look at that. Ugh. It's roughly 60 pips from your first entry. It's roughly 60 pips. How much drawdown did it go into before it hit that 60 pips? So look. So you went about 88 pips in drawdown. We called up, that 60 pips, taking some profits. And that's just off of one entry, man. So it just goes to show you, man, don't trade against your Supreme Trendline. I'll drop some more videos. Like I said, next week is going to be a good week. We'll be starting our other funded account, also starting another live account as well, and getting this bag and really showing y'all how to maximize the software. So much love to y'all, man. Thank y'all for watching. Until next time, stay blessed in everything you do. See y'all on the flip side. Let's go.